In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the data flow nugget transform with asynchronous components. In our previous video, I showed you how to set everything up and showed you exactly how to run a data flow nugget with any components that are synchronous. And what I mean by that is that inside of our data flow nugget package, the one that actually has the business logic, there aren't any asynchronous components. They're all synchronous. So in this case, we had a synchronous derived column transform, and that's what caused us to have a synchronous component. Now in this case, what we have is a asynchronous component. You can see here I slowly change in dimension, and that slightly changes the way that the setup occurs for our data flow nugget transform. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at how that alters the way that this works. Now what we're going to do is open this up. We're going to make sure that we have, so we have everything set up here. We're pointing to our asynchronous component that we just, or our asynchronous package that we just saw. We have our data flow task set up. We have all of our input columns mapped like we saw in the synchronous video, and any of our output columns. Now here's where it changes slightly. Because it's asynchronous, all of the outputs, no matter where they came from, so if you remember from the synchronous video, anything that came in from the input and it was mapped never showed up in the output columns. It was only columns, output columns, that were created as output columns inside of our data flow nugget child package. So in this case though, because they're all async, we have a bunch of output columns because that's how it's set up. So if we take a look at how this looks inside of here, we can see that we pass in all of our data into our placeholder source, and then you'll notice that at the end of this we have one extra column, and that is our update method. So we have all of our columns still, even though these are all input columns coming into the placeholder source, it's async, so it has to be defined as an output here. So you'll notice when we go back into our data flow nugget here, let's open it up now. And okay, yeah, so let's take a look at these output columns. Now again, you can alias this however you want. So we have company name 1, contact name 1, contact title 2, address 4, whatever you want to do, you can alias that there. Now just like the synchronous and video, there's variables that you can map and connection managers that you can map as well. So we are good to go here. So what's going to happen is I'm going to come over here to my advanced execute package, and I'm going to run this. So let's click run, and oh, I have a pre-execute breakpoint there. So we're running it now. It's going through, creating the package, doing all this good stuff, and we got through it. Now I know I showed you in the last video that you can actually set this up to, yeah, so we have it here too. So we have debug packages. So if we go take a look at debug packages, we can see that, let's see if it was created. Oh yeah, there it is right there. So let's take a look at that package. And I think this is it here. It's trying to open, do its thing. Alright, so there we go. So if we take a look at this, let's go ahead and expand this a little bit. We can see that it went from these two packages. I'm actually going to align this real quick. I'm going to pause the video and align this. There we go. That's a little easier to read. Now you'll notice, let's take a look. So here's our data flow nugget package. Okay, this is the one that has our data flow transform, and here is our child. Oh, that's it right here, child nugget package. So we could see that everything right here between the placeholder source and terminator destination was inserted in between the flat file source and the conditional split. So let's take a look. So there we go. And then we come back down and our conditional split. So that all that stuff right there is inserted into it and executed at runtime. So that is how you run it. Run data flow nuggets with asynchronous components.